Actually, there is, and another 152 countries are doing it.
Thank you. Please be seated. Allow me at the very beginning to establish our list of protocol. So, Ambassador, the Honorable Audrey Marks, Minister of Efficiency, Innovation and Digital Transformation, Mr. St. Patrice Ennis, the President of the JCTU, Financial Secretary Darlene Morrison, Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, all permanent secretaries present, heads of agencies present, leadership and members of the trade unions present, all representatives from various ministries and associations. Ladies and gentlemen, which is everybody, good morning. Good morning. So we're here for the launch, and the minister tells me it is the formal launch of the implementation of the flexible work arrangement within the public sector. My name is Theodore Henry. I'll be your guide through these next few moments of the launch, and assisting us as well is Antoinette Aiken, who is assisting us with sign language interpretation. So we're here for this launch of the implementation of the flexible work arrangement in the public sector. Now, I could start the welcome and the opening remarks by talking about the Flexible Work Arrangements Miscellaneous Act 2014 or the Staff Orders for the Public Service 2004, both of which are very crucial things. But instead, if you'll allow me just a few seconds to paint a case study in why this is so good. Imagine with me. Man, I like you. Imagine with me. It's September morning. You don't have any children, or you have children and they're no longer in the house. They're not going to school for 7:30, but work for you starts at 8. And so, what sort of morning are you going to be having? I'll tell you the kind of morning that I am having. I am groaning to put on the jacket. I am grumbling to press the shirt. Not because I hate my job, but because I hate what is between me and the job. So we're wrestling with all this traffic, all this congestion, all this drama. But something like our flexible work arrangement within the public sector solves that for a great many people. And I'm sure the minister will speak more to the different modalities of the flexible work arrangement. But make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, what we are here to launch is at least one step, one significant step in the transformation in how Jamaica works. React as you feel is appropriate to that information. Now, I'll take no further time. We'll head into our remarks as per the program that I believe you got. Our first remarks will be by Mr. St. Patrice Ennis, the President of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions. As you worked out the little clap a while ago, work it out again and welcome him, please.
Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremony. Minister, Ambassador Honorable Audrey Marks. I don't see our Minister Pernell Charles as yet. Permanent secretaries, heads of department, agencies, colleagues, trade unionists, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. Today's launch of the Flexi Work Arrangement Initiative represents a timely and important step in modernizing Jamaica's world of work. It reflects a growing understanding that productivity, service delivery, worker well-being are not competing goals, but complementary ones. The Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions welcomes the government's decision to implement flexible work arrangements as a national initiative, beginning with staggered working hours across the public sector. This approach recognizes the daily realities faced by workers, including the long commutes, the transportation costs, the family responsibilities that was just referenced, and the need for greater resilience in an increasingly uncertain environment. In this regard, we commend Ambassador Honorable Audrey Marks, the Minister with responsibility for efficiency, innovation, and digital transformation in the Office of the Prime Minister, for her eagerness and leadership in advancing this effort. I believe it is her antecedents in the Foreign Ministry that provide a useful fillip in this regard. We particularly acknowledge the inclusive approach adopted through consultation with key stakeholders, including the trade union movement. I can tell you that spirit of engagement is essential to trust and a successful implementation. We note this initiative is grounded in an established legal and policy framework and is being pursued through a phased approach. This allows for careful monitoring, evaluation, and adjustment as the program evolves. From the perspective of the JCTU, flexibility must never mean insecurity. Flexible work arrangement must enhance work, not erode rights. They must not be used to weaken terms and conditions of employment, bypass collective bargaining, or impose unilateral changes without consultation. Accordingly, we emphasize these three principles. First, consultation through ongoing engagement with trade unions or their worker representatives. Second, fairness, ensuring transparent and non-discriminatory application. Third, accountability, supported by evidence-based monitoring that protects workers' health, safety, and work-life balance. When properly designed and fairly implemented, flexible work arrangements can reduce congestion, as referenced earlier, improve morale, strengthen productivity, and contribute to national development. We at the JCTU stand ready to work as a social partner in this process. We support innovation, but we insist on fairness. We welcome flexibility, but we defend security. I say let us move forward in building a modern, resilient, and people-centered public service. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. St. Patrice Ennis. That is the president of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions. I note from your comments, sir, that you underline the spirit of engagement. It is apparent that the plan is for the thing to work. So we talk to the people who it involves. Wonderful. Now, before we go on to the main address, let me let you know that there is a question and answer segment right after the main address. And we don't want this to be dead air, so while you give 92.35% of your attention to the main address, save that little piece to just formulate your questions as the minister tackles them. Now, for our main address, please welcome and help me welcome Ambassador the Honorable Audrey Marks, our Minister of Efficiency, Innovation, and Digital Transformation.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming on this Thursday morning. It is a pleasure to be here to see the launch of literally my first initiative since joining the government. And it has been quite an interesting experience, just learning the process. But I'm so grateful for all the support. So I want to say again, good morning, colleagues across the public service, union leaders and members, representatives of the private sector organization of Jamaica, our social partners, members of the media, and fellow Jamaicans. Thank you for those encouraging words, Mr. St. Patrice Ellis. You know, Patrice is my middle name. and he made reference to my background in the Foreign Service because he also shares that background in the Foreign Service. And so it has been really good to work with so many different persons to get to today's launch of the flexible work arrangements as a national initiative. This represents an important and deliberate step in Jamaica's ongoing public sector transformation program, one that is designed to build a public service that is more efficient, more accountable, more customer-focused, and better equipped to meet the needs of a modern Jamaica. The idea of flexible work arrangements in Jamaica has been evolving for several years, long before it became a part of our legislative framework. There was growing recognition that traditional, rigid work models were no longer fully aligned with changing technologies, workforce expectations, or global best practices. The conversation intensified during the COVID-19 pandemic, when public and private sector entities alike were required to adapt quickly to remote and hybrid work environments. What emerged from that experience was a powerful lesson. Productivity is driven by outcomes, not just physical presence. In 2014, but before I get to 2014, let me just share a little bit with coming back home in April of last year. Time is going by so quickly. So in April, I had an appointment in New Kingston. And then I had another appointment at 6 o'clock in Jacks Hill. And it took me 1 hour and 35 minutes to get from New Kingston to Jacks Hill. It was like a shock to my system. I'm like, you know, this is probably what prosperity looks like, and that many more people, you know, are driving, but it is just not productive. And then I see the same thing in the same narrow hours in the mornings. So the idea came to me, we need to have flexible working hours. I thought I was coming up with something new. So I came to OPM, I called some persons and said, we need to introduce flexible working hours, only for me to hear that, yes, we are ahead of you. That in 2014, Jamaica introduced the Employment Flexible Work Arrangements, Miscellaneous Provisions Act, which established the legal framework for flexible work arrangements. The law strikes a careful and necessary balance, supporting worker well-being while maintaining standards, service standards, and organizational performance. This law involves options which includes the staggered working hours, hybrid work, telecommuting, compressed work week, and banking of hours. I was amazed to know that this was already in place, but somehow not fully being utilized. So that's when we got to work to look at how we can have the full implementation of this act. I got interrupted for a brief period between, I think, July to September, with my focus being a bit distracted, but fortunately, in October we got back on it, and then Melissa came by and another distraction. So today is a good day. Today's launch signals the government of Jamaica's intention to move beyond policy into systematic implementation, starting with the public sector. Flexible work arrangements directly support the objectives of the public sector transformation program, especially its focus on improving service delivery, strengthening performance management, and modernizing human resource systems. On the PSTP, we are shifting from a process-driven public service to a results-oriented one. Flexible work arrangements reinforce this shift by encouraging managers to focus on outputs, service quality, and accountability, rather than hours spent in the office. This is fully consistent with the program's emphasis on performance-based management and continuous improvement. For public sector employees, flexible work arrangements offer tangible benefits. They promote better work-life balance, as you heard earlier from Mr. Ellis, reduce commuting costs and time, support mental and physical well-being. A workforce that is healthier, more engaged, and more motivated is better positioned to deliver high-quality public services. For the government, as an employer, flexible work arrangements enhances our ability to attract and retain talent, improve staff morale, and optimize the use of public resources. It also allows ministries, departments, and agencies to optimize use of physical and human resources while maintaining or improving productivity, and efficiency, which is central to my mission in government, and also service delivery. Importantly, this initiative complements other key PSTP reforms, including digital government initiatives, the use of shared services, and the modernization of business processes. Flexible work arrangements are enabled by technology, supported by digital tools, and strengthened by clearer performance metrics, the hallmarks of a transformed public service. Let me join with my colleague to emphasize that flexibility does not mean reduced accountability. On the contrary, it requires strong leadership, clear expectations, measurable performance standards, and effective supervision. As the government of Jamaica moves forward to implement the various phases of this national initiative, guidance, training, and change management support will be central to ensuring that both managers and employees are equipped to operate successfully in flexible work environments. Today's launch, therefore, represents more than a workplace policy announcement. It's a signal of how seriously the government is taking public sector modernization. It reflects our commitment to building a public service that is agile, resilient, and capable of delivering value to citizens in a rapidly changing world. To ensure the success of this initiative, as the Minister responsible for efficiency, innovation, and digital transformation in the Office of the Prime Minister, I engaged in a number of consultations. And I want to just pause to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, and I especially want to acknowledge Mrs. Laura Walters, who is here with us. You did a lot of work. I appreciate it. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security, is the representative here, is it? Or the Minister, oh, yes. Yeah, sorry? You're here. Thank you, thank you. And the Permanent Secretaries Board, thank you. My own PS, Ambassador General Rocky Mead, he actually even went ahead and immediately started the pilot here at OPM so that we could see live and in action how the implementation would go and would have some time to do some changes in this to prepare for the launch. I want to also acknowledge P.S. Templer for some time ago starting this at JAMPRO. Didn't you start this at JAMPRO? Yes. And so we have seen where in the public service there are persons who have gone out and have done some work in getting the act going even before this formal launch. So let me also recognize of course, the trade unions, all the clerical, administrative, and supervisory employees, Probation Aftercare Officers Association, Jamaica Association of Education Officers, Jamaica Federation of Trade Unions, Jamaica Civil Service Association, the Bustamante Industrial Trade Union, and the Jamaica Teachers Association. You all came out and participated and made sure that we get it right. And especially I want to acknowledge, I think this initiative actually came from the trade unions. It's not very often you have initiatives coming from the trade unions and being endorsed immediately by the government. Sometimes they take a work in progress, but this one I think had immediate endorsement, so we are very happy for that. And I want to encourage you in the trade union to continue looking at ways that we can do more to enhance worker welfare while building productivity for the country. The feedback received from these various engagements have been positive and encouraging. We have also arrived at consensus on a way forward given the urgent need to boost productivity, efficiency, and transformation across the public sector while supporting employee well-being and job satisfaction. So far from my initial research, there are approximately 32 government entities that have already implemented some aspects of the flexible work program and have shared positive feedback. So we are now going into the full implementation of flexible work arrangements, starting on a phased basis on February 2nd, 2026. This phase will commence with staggered working hours. I wish to highlight that traditional working hours, 8:30 to 5 p.m. in the public sector, will remain available to all employees. The implementation of staggered working hours is not mandatory. However, it is strongly encouraged, and given the nature of employees' duties, staggered working hours may not be available to all categories of staff. But where there is flexibility, the government entities are encouraged to implement flexible working arrangements. And those that have implemented it before will, of course, continue. So this, again, I am actually very enthused to get on to the other areas of the work program: hybrid work, telecommuting, compressed work week, and banking of hours. But I'm being managed to make sure we do it carefully, and I'm fully in favor of that. So to make sure when we do this, there's no disruption, but in everything that we do, there'll be increased productivity. The Ministry of Finance and Public Service has prepared guidelines on the implementation of staggered work hours with consideration for core working hours. The implementation oversight will be executed by my office in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service and the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. So, in closing, flexible work arrangements as a national initiative is a catalyst for modern systems, empowered people, and better outcomes for Jamaica. By embracing flexibility, we are investing in productivity, efficiency, and future readiness of our public service. The private sector also has a significant role to play in Jamaica's productivity, And many have already started with the flexible work program. And in the coming weeks, I'll be reaching out to the private sector through the PSOJ to discuss total adoption across the private sector. So we will have a question and answer section, so we can go into more details, such as I know, for example, we have prepared a model that shows that what the staggered working hours will look like from 6:30 to 3 p.m., for example, 7:30 to 4 p.m., 8:30 to 5 p.m., 9:30 to 6 p.m., 10:30 to 7 p.m., and so on. So we can discuss those details more, but at this time, I want to say thank you to all the stakeholders who have contributed to this moment and for your attendance and participation today and going forward. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. MC.
And thank you, Minister, for your work and your enthusiasm, not just for phase one, but to get past phase one. Did you hear the Minister say she's excited about the other phases? I wonder what is the most exciting phase to those of us who are here. I knew it was going to be compressed. That's yours too, Minister. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me at this point in the program to also welcome those who are watching us online. By my count, we have 142 devices online already. And Minister, there are questions online. But I am going to yield the floor now, once more, to our Minister, who will take the questions that you have prepared. And Permanent Secretary Meade, I don't know if you'll be supporting as well. No, just Minister Marks. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, there is a roving mic. That gentleman, that very tall gentleman with the mic, he is our roving mic. If you would like to ask a question, just pop your hand up, and the Minister will treat with your questions. Minister. While we wait on questions, somebody asked online where the policy can be.
So, I'm very well supported today by my Permanent Secretary Rocky Meade, the president of the various presidents of the Civil Service Associations. I may call on you depending on the questions that I ask, and of course representatives from Mrs. Walters from the Ministry of Finance and representatives from the Ministry of Labor and Social Services. So, what is the first question?
On behalf of one of our viewers online, they asked the question, where can the policy be found, or the act?
Policy guidelines, or the act?
The act itself, I think.
Okay. Permanent Secretary?
Thank you.
Sorry. Many of you thought you were invited for your good looks. It's really to support.
No. That's fine, Minister. Of course, the lead ministry from the policy perspective is the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, but just about any legislation you want in Jamaica can be found online. You can go to either the responsible ministry's website or the Ministry of Justice, but any legislation that has made it through the full rounds can be found online.
Yes, thank you so much. What would they look up? Do we know? Or the Ministry of Justice. And the Permanent Secretary is here. So did you want to add anything, PS? Yes. You want to give the specific, Mrs. Walters? And I haven't called on any of you, but you can also at any point. So.
Good morning. The legislation is online, as PS said, and in terms of the guidelines are at the Ministry of Finance. So you just need to speak to us at the Ministry of Finance and you will get the guidelines. Permanent secretaries already have a version of it, and so they already are working. Most places have it, and they are already working, and we have already started some sensitizations at some of these entities, so they have documentation. Yes.
Thank you. I hope that answered that question. Let me recognize Permanent Secretary Jennifer Griffiths, who has just joined us from the Ministry of Tourism. Any more questions?
Hi, Minister. Hello, everyone. Yes, it's on. So I am Karen Davis, President for the Probation Officer Staff Association, and we are delighted with this move for sure. But my quick question is, I noticed in the conversation you said ministries and so on are encouraged. When we are faced with resistance, how do we manage that?
I'm trying to understand the resistance because it is not mandatory.
Right.
So persons who want to work their normal hours will work their normal hours. Those persons who want to utilize flexible times, they are now going to be facilitated. So where would the resistance come
Right,
from?
so sorry, I should have clarified.
Yes.
So let's say the organization's leadership is not supportive of this initiative, but the employees are willing to participate in this. Where do we draw the line in terms of having our leaders and the employees working together so all of us could benefit from this process?
All right.
Certainly from where I sit, I know we won't have that challenge, but I am hearing the concerns of the wider civil service.
Well, thank you
among
for
others.
bringing that concern to my attention. Well, this is a national initiative by the government of Jamaica. So if it's any government entity, ministry, department, or agencies, it's not really a question of an individual discretion. It is that the government has now put forward the full implementation of an act that was passed from 2014. So it's no longer discretionary. It is for all the leaders in the various organizations to implement it, to make their staff be aware of the provisions and to give staff the opportunity to utilize the flexible work program. As I said earlier, there may be some circumstances and some services that some organizations will not be able to fully utilize it, some category of staff. But as far as possible, it should be made available to the staff who will want to utilize it. And if it's not done, clearly I'd want to hear about that. Yes, thank you. Is another from online? Oh, okay, all right. Any more questions? No? Oh, this was a good one. This is a non-controversial topic. We are all aligned. So again, I just want to say thank you.
And Minister, you are very clear. You are very clear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, the next item on your program are the closing remarks, and they are this. You were listening to the minister's presentation, and one of the things that stood out very clearly to me is this phrase: productivity is driven by outcomes, not merely presence. And I think that by itself is a major transformation in how the public service in Jamaica works. And so with this formal launch, thank you for your attendance, thank you for your attention, and we bid you good day and happy working time. As we roll out starting in February, staggered working hours, and February 2nd, staggered working hours, and the parts that you are all excited about, we listen out for the minister to announce when those come on stream. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
As the place of choice to live, work, do business, raise families, and retire in peace and prosperity.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Earth, a unique planet, restless and dynamic. Continents shift and clash. Volcanoes erupt.
Yo, babes, why me I call you so much time and I not get you? Sorry me lick you again yesterday. Yo, me know me mess up, but I can't wear them something there road and I expect me to react. I know me jealous and fool and easy to lose my temper, but call me back here. Still not get tired. Hey, girl, think me have to call your phone? You know who you deal with? You think I want lick me again next time? Eh?
It doesn't have to be this way. You can leave an abusive relationship. Just call 876-553-0372. We will help you.
As men, we're told we're strong, resilient, able to handle anything. But what happens when the pressure gets overwhelming? When stress and anxiety start to weigh us down? Mental health is just as vital as physical health. It is okay not to be okay. You don't have to carry it alone. Let's break the silence. Talk openly, support each other, and seek help when
something good gonna happen in this year.
Jamaica, coming out and join the Reggae Music Fraternity led by the Honorable Olivia Grange, Minister of Culture, for the annual Reggae Month Church Service, Sunday, February 1 at Fellowship Tabernacle, Pembroke Hall, Kingston, starting at 9 a.m. Immersed in the pulsating rhythms of roots rock reggae music, and PBCJ will be there to provide live coverage. Join us and be blessed.
I'm still here, I'm still here, yeah. Never would have made it, but look where we are.
When the storm rages and the world feels shaken, remember, our strength lies in unity. It's in coming together, sharing hope, and standing shoulder to shoulder that we find resilience. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement builds a brighter tomorrow. We are stronger as one. Our courage, compassion, and hope will light the way forward. Together we rise. Together we rebuild, because hope is never lost when we stand united, because we are stronger together.
Early, it is more like afternoon. Didn't I tell you on Spanner from yesterday that I'm expecting a very important customer?
Yes, sir.
So what are you trying to do? Sabotage me business?
Sorry. But if I ever tell you what happened to me, sir, you would never believe me.
Try me, no?
You know what?
Early. Tidy up the place.
Mr. Adam, you know what time I get up out of my bed this morning, sir?
No.